Hello everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining in. I can already see few of the attendees have joined. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes and we'll get going there. Welcome for today's webinar on cut cleanse for IBS by Dr. ADST. All right, good morning everyone. Good morning and a very warm welcome for today's webinar on cut cleanse for IBS by Daily Bloom IBS powered by Dr. AD's team. Thank you so much for joining us on our Saturday morning. This definitely shows your dedication and commitment towards your well-being and overall gut health. A very warm welcome to all the attendees, and we'll wait for a couple of minutes to let everyone else also join, and we'll be starting at 11:05. So meanwhile, we can judiciously utilize these next 5 minutes to get to know each other better. And yes, so which part of India have everyone joined? Can I get a hi, a thumbs up in the chat box, and probably which part of India you belong to? So I'll go first. Hi everyone, I'm Simran, and I belong to Dehradun, Uttarakhand. As of now, I'm staying in Hyderabad. How about others? Okay, Prab says hi. Hi Prab, he's from Delhi. Welcome for today's webinar. How about others? How about rest of the attendees? Would love to hear from everyone, and let's make this session as engaging as we can. And I'll be zipping in and out so that we can have the engagement from you, from the attendees as well. Okay, Shrikant says he's from Hyderabad. Hi Shrikant, hello. Thank you for joining in for today's webinar. How about others? I can see a lot of people have joined, and yes, would love to hear where are you from. And so these webinars, these sessions, we have been keeping religiously for alternate weekends. Sometimes they are about more on nutrition, sometimes they are more about mental well-being, and for yoga-based sessions and webinars, we are keeping 3 times in a week, completely free of cost. My team will be shortly dropping a community link in the chat box. You can access that community link, and there will be sharing the yoga sessions and the upcoming webinar link. So make sure you're part of that community. It's completely free of cost. It's been designed to help the patients out there dealing with gut health and IBS related issues. So make sure you're a part of that community in order to get the maximum benefit from these webinars. And these webinars, we have been keeping it for over a year now. And yes, so may I know about others? Where are you from and what do you do? Would love to hear in the chat box. So please drop your answers. Okay, Anuj says Mumbai. Hi Anuj, how are you? I hope everything's good. And Prasanna says she's from Guntur. Okay, lovely. Hi Prasanna, welcome for today's webinar. Thank you for joining in. And my team has already shared the community link in the chat box. Make sure you click on that community link, be a part of WhatsApp community, and you can join these webinars happening every other Saturday. And yoga webinars are happening on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. All right. We will wait for another 2 minutes and we'll get going then. And okay, and whatever doubts you have throughout the webinar, make sure you put out there in the chat box option, and our IBS experts will be taking it up in the end of the session. So make sure you are there till end to get your answers, to get your queries to get answer to your queries. Okay, I can see a lot of people who have joined us today. All right, welcome Abhishek, welcome Amit, welcome for today's webinar. Happy to see you here. And I would like to appreciate all of you for being a part of this webinar on a Saturday morning. This definitely shows your commitment and dedication towards your gut health and overall well-being. Welcome for today's webinar. Would love to hear from which part of India are you from, Abhishek, Amit. For those who have recently joined, my team has already shared the community link, WhatsApp community link in the chat box. Make sure you click on the link and be a part of Daily Bloom IBS community, where we'll be sending across various tips and suggestions how to manage your IBS better, and the upcoming webinars related to IBS. So I think we can get going now. So welcome everyone. Welcome for joining in for today's webinar, today's session. Okay. Let me know if I'm audible, if you can see me, you can hear me clearly, and I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Please drop me a thumbs up or yes in the chat box if you can see me, hear me clearly, and my screen is visible to you. Okay. All right, we'll get going then. Welcome everyone. Welcome for today's session. Thank you for joining in today. And so before we get started, I wanted to hear from the lovely attendees that have any of you been enjoying, or since this is the festive season and we've been having a lot of festive treats, desserts, but it can again lead to some sort of IBS flare-ups. If you have experienced any of these IBS flare-ups while enjoying your food favorites or desserts, please drop a fire icon emoji in comment or a yes. Would like to know how many of you have been facing similar issues and you are not alone out there. Okay, Shrikant says yes. Okay, Prab has also experienced these IBS related flare-ups. How about others? Let's make it as engaging as possible. Okay, Prasanna has asked that can link be shared to phone number also? Prasanna, my team will reach out to you after this webinar, and probably you can just click on the community link and then directly you can join in the WhatsApp community group. If not, my team will also share it post this webinar. Need not worry. Yeah, okay. So then before we move any further, I request all the attendees to make sure they check their gut health score. This gut health index has been specially designed by Dr. Reddy's gastroenterologist, team of nutritionists and psychologists. This gut health score gives you a clear idea about what is the condition of your gut health. A score of less than 40 indicates that your gut is asking for immediate relief and care. So make sure you scan the QR code and check your gut health score, which is completely free of cost. My team has already dropped a link for this gut health index and would like to know how many of you have already received your score. So you can drop your gut health score in the chat box, and definitely today the IBS experts will help you to understand how you can take your gut health score from 40 to an ideal score of 80 to 90. So make sure you put your gut health score in the chat box. My team has already dropped the link, so make sure you check it. All right. If you have already checked your gut health score, make sure you put in the chat box so that we can help you to understand what does your score mean and what does it imply for you. Okay, so Prab says his score has come less than 40, which can be either 36, 39. So he's asking what does it mean for him, or does he need to worry? So Prab, a score of less than 40 indicates that your gut is asking for immediate care and relief, but you need not worry, because by the end of this session or the webinar today, you'll have doable tips on how you can manage and improve your gut health score. A score of 80 to 90 is usually considered ideal, but need not worry, we are there to help and assist you. Okay, Malti says her score is 39. All right. So Malti's score of less than 40 is again your gut health is asking for help and care, but need not worry. We can definitely take it to 80 or 90. And in the coming session, I'll be also sharing about how few of the patients have improved their score from even 32 up till 95. So need not worry. How about others? My team has already dropped the link in the chat box. Make sure you click on the link to check your gut health score for free. And even you can scan the QR code being projected on the screen. All right. Okay, so we'll get going then. So how will you be benefited from today's session? Today we have India's best IBS experts who will be helping you with tips for healthy gut and how you can trigger certain foods which are causing you IBS flare-ups. And along with that, we'll be also talking a little bit about on how you can manage your stress more effectively, better, because we know gut health can again lead problems with gut health can lead to a lot of frustration and irritability. And along with that, we also have a fun quiz, a fun trivia round, and those who will be getting their will be giving right answers will be receiving a free recipe booklet from a team. So make sure you do drop your answers in the chat box. So yes, I'll quickly introduce myself. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I am Simran by profession. I am a clinical nutritionist, and today I'll be the moderator for this session. And we have Miss Dhruvisha, who is our IBS expert and also a lead coach nutritionist at Daily Bloom IBS. Dhruvi is also a registered dietitian and a clinical certified FODMAP nutritionist. So far in her journey, she was able to help over 2,000 patients of IBS and gut health. Thank you so much joining in for Dhruvi. We understand you are a little busy and occupied with patients, but thank you so much for joining in today and sharing your expertise with the panel. All right, so now that all of us know, today gut health has become the new buzzword of the health industry. And why is it so, and how your gut health matters? Because the gut is actually called the doorway to your body. So Dhruvi, can you help us understand a little more better why and how this gut health matters?
Hi, thank you, Simran, for introducing me. So definitely the statement here, the gut is the door to your body, says it all, because gut is often referred to as door to health because it also serves a critical getaway for rest of the body, and it does influence numerous aspects of our health from nutrient absorption or digestion, immune support, because 70% of the immune system is located in the gut. It also regulates our mental health and mood. It also is related to inflammation and chronic diseases. because if the gut health is poor, it is likely linked to inflammation, which is what happens generally during IBS. A gut also helps in skin health, our energy levels, and a lot of other things. So that's why gut health really matters.
Noted, Dhruvi. I think that's very interesting to know that how gut health today has gone far beyond just digestion of food and providing you the essential nutrients. So, Dhruvi, what does it mean for an IBS patient, for an irritable bowel syndrome patient? Because a lot of time, the symptoms one experiences in IBS are very common, and they feel that doing certain day-to-day home remedies will give them a short and quick relief.
Right. So a lot of people are confused when it comes to symptoms like abdominal pain, bloating, constipation, diarrhea. They disregard it as generally simple digestive issues, but it is rather a complex gut-brain interaction. So the gut-brain axis is something which is disrupted when it comes to IBS. A gastroenterologist will be a better person to diagnose if it is IBS or not. But symptoms like I mentioned about abdominal pain, bloating, altered bowel habits for over 6 months, including diarrhea, constipation, or both, is something which is related to IBS. The symptoms of IBS are these, and it is generally caused by the gut brain axis disruption or food sensitivities or stress and anxiety, hormonal change, if there's irregular sleep, if the lifestyle is not correct, and a lot more. So, correcting the gut brain axis, basically the signal that the gut sends to your brain and the signal that is received by the gut from the brain, is something which is needed to be corrected when it comes to IBS.
All right. So, through a lot of time, people think that IBS is just another disease which they have. So, can you please help us elaborate or help us understand, is IBS actually a disease, or there's something else which is involved here?
So IBS is not a disease. It's just the symptoms that are caused because the stomach lining is inflamed when the stomach cannot tolerate certain food. Okay, so 75% of Indians, they lack formal medical diagnosis for IBS. And sadly, in India, people cannot take the concept of IBS, and it is, like I said, disregarded as the normal stomach issue, which people generally solve by simple home remedies, but they don't feel at ease even after that. So connecting with a medical professional, the doctors, the nutritionists, the wellness coach, is something that will help in managing IBS. So like I mentioned about the symptoms, these are the major symptoms that one faces when there is IBS.
All right. So, Dhruvi, also these days there is a lot of talk about how there is an imbalance of bacteria, which can again aggravate some of these symptoms. And in scientific explanation, it is called as gut dysbiosis. But can you please simplify a little bit for our audience today and help them understand what it means for them?
Right. So, like I mentioned, that gut is the door to health, right? So, the gut has, it's a home to trillions of bacteria, which is known as gut microbiome. So, now in this, there are good bacteria and bad bacteria both. So, now the good bacteria are essential for maintaining digestive health and the system, and the overall role that it plays in aiding of digestion or nutrient synthesis, or like I mentioned about the immune system. It also is the barrier. So it prevents the entry of harmful pathogens and toxins into the bloodstream, versus when there is dysbiosis. So, dysbiosis is basically when the bad bacteria or the content of bad bacteria increases as compared to the good bacteria. This generally occurs when there is inflammation or some sort of infection, or there is increased production of toxins, or like I said, there is disruptive digestive function where the bad bacteria can interfere with the normal processes of digestion, leading to bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea. So that is mainly dysbiosis, and it does affect multiple things, starting from your gut, your mood, your cognitive health. and a lot of other things.
Yes. Thank you, Dhruvi. I think that was really insightful to learn about how gut dysbiosis has also been commonly noticed in IBS patients. So I'm sure in your clinical practice you must have come across patients for whom the IBS had such an impact on work that lead to absenteeism and presenteeism. A lot of time patients do have it, but they don't realize. So can you please share some quick examples or how the attendees today can interpret it better?
Definitely. So I've come across a lot of patients who have either quit working or they quit socializing because when it comes to IBS, it is unpredictable that when one of the symptoms could flare up at any point of time. It could be chronic pain or discomfort, or it could also be sleep disturbances sometimes. So generally, when we are socializing, a chronic pain or any discomfort in the stomach is something that could just take a seat back, like, okay, now I can't do anything, right? So this is something that IBS does affect, because your gut generally sends signals to your brain. So if the gut is not functioning, your focus or your attention span reduces. It also affects emotionally, because stress and anxiety has a strong gut brain connection. It also, like I said, it affects the work and productivity. When somebody could be absent, or like you just said about absenteeism from work, it's because of flare up, or reduced concentration and focus when you have to rush to the washroom all the time. So you concentrating on one thing could be difficult. So this is how it affects the overall quality of life.
Yes, thank you, Dhruvi. I think that's one of the common complaint that we have noticed in IBS patient: brain fog, absenteeism, presenteeism, or lack of social circle. So that is one thing IBS patients largely suffer from: poor quality of life. So how can we? What are the next action steps, or what does trigger an IBS, or what are the certain trigger point that we need to keep in account for?
Right. So, one of the major trigger could be food, because if the food intake is not correct, if your food lifestyle is not correct, if you're not eating correct food at correct timings, that could be a trigger. It could also be stress, wherein we spoke about constantly speak about the gut brain axis dysfunction. So, stress is something a wellness coach will be a better person to make you understand about stress, because there's something called as serotonin also. If that serotonin level is lesser in the body, could lead to increase in stress, which could also lead to a trigger. And definitely, like we spoke about, dysbiosis or infection, that is a trigger. Apart from these, there are multiple triggers when it comes to IBS. It could be like as simple as weather, or your low water intake, or sleep cycle disturbances, or even physical activity for that matter.
Okay. So I think, Dhruv, in that sense, IBS is truly idiopathic. It does not have any one clear identifiable root cause. But I think food is something which has been largely researched when it comes to IBS. So can you please elaborate a little bit more on how food can trigger IBS related symptoms?
Right. So on the screen, you see FODMAP written. So what are these FODMAP? FODMAP are fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. So these are present in certain carbohydrate. Upon consuming these high FODMAP food, they do not get tolerated or digested well in the gut. Now, when the digestion does not take place in the gut, it moves on to the intestines. Now, here in the intestine, ideally it is not the place for digestion, so it stays for a longer period of time than expected. When it stays for a longer period, it irritates the lining, and which causes inflammation. Now, this inflammation is something that leads to triggers like we just spoke about. So, gas, bloating, abdominal pain, constipation, etc. So, high FODMAP food consists of certain fruits like apple, pear, guava, pomegranate, even certain vegetables like beetroot, cauliflower, milk and milk products, wheat, even onion and garlic. And I'm sure chole rajma is something that all the patients suffering from IBS would stay away from. So these are certain high FODMAP food that causes triggers.
Okay. Dhruvi, can you please help us with quick swaps for these food? Because now that we know, okay, there are certain high FODMAP that we need to avoid. Are there any certain low FODMAP that we need to take care for?
Definitely. So, like I mentioned about these high FODMAP food, wheat is one of them, and we understand that wheat is something which is used in daily household at everybody's place, right? So that could be simply swapped by rice or millets or sabudana. Maida noodles could be swapped by rice noodles or nachni noodles. Beetroot can be swapped by carrots or even capsicums, and onions can be swapped by spring onions. So the green tops of spring onion. So these are few swaps that can be used.
All right. Noted, Dhruvi. I think that was really, really helpful. So the next time our attendees are going to the kitchen to prepare something, they know some of the IBS friendly alternatives. I hope all the attendees have already taken a screenshot. If not, I'll wait for another 5 seconds. And for the next slides, for the next round, we have a quick trivia round for all of you. So here we'll be posing two simple questions for IBS. So make sure you drop your answers in the chat box, because the respondents who get their answers correct, they'll be receiving a recipe booklet from our team, completely free of cost, designed by our clinical nutritionist. So make sure you get your answers in the chat box. All right, so question number one we have is, which of these is a better and safe alternative in IBS? Cashews being displayed on the left side, or peanuts being displayed on the right side? Okay, Krub says cashews is the right alternative for an IBS patient. Shrikant also says that cashews are the right alternative for IBS. Prasanna also says cashews are the right alternative. How about others? How about the rest? Shortly, Dhruvi will be revealing the right answer and which of these is actually a safe alternative. So make sure you put your answers in the chat box, and the respondents who get their answers correct will be also receiving a free recipe booklet from our team. Okay, Nilima says peanut is the right alternative for IBS. Sujata also agrees with Nilima. All right. How about others? How about the rest of the attendees? All right. So, Dhruvi, can you please help us understand which of these nuts and which of these nuts is actually a safe alternative in IBS?
Sure. So cashew nuts is something which is considered as high FODMAP. So peanuts is the correct answer. Cashew nut has polyols and oligosaccharide. These are fermentable sugar which could cause triggers like gas, bloating, diarrhea, etc. And even taking in small quantities like a handful of cashew nuts could cause symptoms. And on the other hand, when it comes to peanut, it is low in FODMAP, but again keeping in mind the portion control, approximately 2 tablespoons of peanut or almost more than a handful of peanut is something that could be easily tolerated by a person who has IBS.
All right. Thank you, Dhruvi, and thank you for the portion size as well, because a lot of people are not aware by identifying their right portion size, they can still enjoy their food favorite. So, thank you so much for that. So, the next and the last question we have on screen is, which of these is an IPS friendly alternative? Papaya or watermelon? Please put your answers in the chat box, and the right respondents will be receiving a free recipe booklet from our team. Okay, Shrikant says papaya is the right alternative, whereas Prab and Prasanna says watermelon is the safest choice for IBS patients. Nilima has also voted for papaya. How about others? How about rest? I want to hear from all the respondents. Let's make this as engaging as possible. Sujata also says that papaya is the right answer. Malti is also saying papaya is the correct answer. Anuj also says papaya is the right answer. All right. How about others? How about others? How about other respondents? Make sure you put your answers in the chat box, or if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box and we'll be taking it by the end of the session. Another 10 seconds to go to put your answers in the chat box. Karthik also says papaya is the safest alternative in IBS. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yes, Dhruvi, what's the right answer for this? Many of the respondents have said papaya. Few of them have also said watermelon. So please tell us what is the right way.
So most of our patients have answered correctly. Papaya is the low FODMAP food because papaya contains enzyme known as papain, which aids in digestion and breaking down of protein. So approximately 140 grams of papaya is something which is considered as IPS friendly. Wherein on the other hand, watermelon is something which has polyols, which could be problematic food for certain people with IBS and could lead to symptoms like gas, bloating, and diarrhea.
All right, I think that was very interesting to know that how one enzyme in papaya can make all the difference. And Shrikant has written in the chat box saying that papaya has laxative effect, which helps in soothing gut. I think so. So Shrikant, you're definitely on the right track. Dhruvi, would you like to comment, please, on this?
Definitely. So, papaya is something that is also termed as laxatives. It helps in smooth passing of motions. It works similar to psyllium husk because both of them are soluble fibers.
All right. Noted. So I think soluble fiber is the way to go when it comes to constipation related IBS. So yes, so Dhruvi, now that we have this thorough understanding of what foods are working, what foods we need to avoid, what are the next action items? What does it imply for an IBS patient or the attendees which have joined us for today?
Right. So, when we know that high pharma food are certain foods that could lead to some certain problems or symptoms like bloating, gas, and acidity. Now, let me take an analogy of a lake. If there's a lake which is polluted and there's no growth of fish, what would you do? Would you clean up the lake, or would you just rather restock the lake so that the population flourishes? So,
Attendees, you can put your answer in the chat box. I think Dhruvi would love to hear from you.
so when it comes to this polluted lake, we would definitely clean it up first, right? Because we do not want the lake to get more polluted. Absolutely correct, Nilamaji. So clean the lake is the correct answer. Similarly, when it comes to IBS, rather than just consuming certain food which could help in treating the symptom, rather than that, looking at why it is causing these symptoms is more important. So, considering elimination is one of the things that can be done. So, elimination of these high FODMAP food could lead to reduction in triggers, and then a reintroduction is something that can be done. So once the triggers are removed, like if your lifestyle is correct, if you are not taking high FODMAP food, your water intake is right, you are constantly in touch with the wellness coach for your stress, anxiety, so all of these triggers, when it is reduced, that could lead to cleansing of the gut, and it could lead to better quality of life and reduce symptoms. So that is the first step to manage IBS.
Alright. Truly, Dhruvi, you have again told the how important and integrated care is when it comes to IBS. It's not just trigger, it's not just food, it's not just overall well-being. When you bring all these three things together, definitely a calming relief is noticed and symptoms reduction happen. Thank you so much for that. So I would like to share a few of the data points on the stats of the people, of the patients who have completed their 4 weeks of gut cleanse with daily bloom IBS, and they have seen some of the noticeable change in their symptoms. Bloating has gone down by 80% within 4 weeks of the program, whereas constipation has gone down by 65%, and whereas abdominal pain, diarrhea, they have noticed a reduction of 70 to 75%, and that too all within 4 weeks of the program. And I want to share a quick IBS relief story of one of our patient. She's a 40-year-old homemaker from Hyderabad who came to us with complaints of predominantly constipation, gas, and bloating. And she was diagnosed over 15 years, but still she was struggling a lot in order to understand what foods were working, what are the triggers, because she didn't follow a proper gut cleanse routine. And her loss of appetite was the major complaint. She was merely having 700 kilocalories a day and almost noticed 10 to 15 kgs of weight loss ever since she was diagnosed. And her major ask was that she wanted to enjoy non-vegetarian food, but again in IBS there is a myth that you cannot enjoy non-veg chicken, eggs, because that might trigger a IBS. But when she joined our program, slowly and steadily she realized that not all foods, or not especially the non-vegetarian food, was not her trigger. And after doing the gut cleanse, her appetite was restored. Slowly and steadily her issues, her problem of constipation, bloating, and gas also gone down. And by the end of the program, she was feeling much better, happier, healthier. She was able to enjoy her food favorites, and gradually her appetite also gone up. And she changed her gut health score from 32 to 75. So, how can you be part of one of those stories? How can you improve your IBS symptoms gradually and by following a completely natural course within 4 weeks? So, Dr. Reddy's Daily Bloom IBS team has launched a 4 weeks of gut cleanse program. It is absolutely your first step to understand what works for you and what does not, to reduce your IBS symptoms. And these 4 weeks of gut cleanse program gives you two phases. The phase one is our discovery phase, which is all about understanding you on a deeper level. Here we take into account your diet history, your medical history, your likes, dislikes, geographical preferences. Now, for example, I'm a half North Indian, I'm a half South Indian. So, probably in breakfast, I might like dosa, but again in the lunch I want my staple curry rice or rajma rice. So these kind of short details are also being captured by our team in order to understand what is truly your diet and what fits your schedule and routine. So once we are done with this thorough history recall of yours, we move to phase two of gut cleanse, which is the absolutely critical and important step when it comes to IBS management and relief. As Dhruvi has already stated that to manage this imbalance, we first have to remove all possible sort of triggers from our diet which are causing a problem to our IBS symptoms. So what does this phase 2 of gut cleanse involves? We are removing all possible sort of triggers from your diet. We are giving you gentler options which are easy on your gut, which keeps your IBS symptoms at bay. Here you'll be interacting with your nutritionist on a weekly basis. You'll be interacting with your wellness coaches once in 2 weeks, and along with that you'll be also joining or having live yoga sessions happening every alternate day, that is on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And once you are done with gut cleanse, you'll be also receiving a gut detailed report on your symptoms, that is how was your gut health when you started versus what was your gut health when you completed these 4 weeks of gut cleanse. So what are the benefits that you'll be getting if you complete these 4 weeks of gut cleanse specifically tailored for you based on your IBS symptoms? You'll be getting relief in your symptoms. Definitely high FODMAP elimination is going to be our major uh, takeaway from these 4 weeks. Third is improved quality of life. There will be improved work productivity, lesser absenteeism and presenteeism from work. You can travel fearlessly and you know what food works for you and what do not. And all of this will be possible because you'll be receiving IBS expert consultation. All these consultations will be completely live and you can put your questions, your doubts to the experts. And let me tell you, the clients, the patients who have completed these 4 weeks, their symptoms of bloating, abdominal pain, diarrhea, constipation have gone down from 4 to 5 times in a week to just 2 times in a week. And that too just by following the right diet, right stress management, and right yoga. So, in order to make you feel healthier, happier, the Dr. Reddy's team has launched a limited time offer for all the attendees who have joined us today. This special festive season discount we bring to you these entire 4 weeks, which the actual cost for them is 3,999, but on this festive season offer, festive season discount, we give you this entire 1 month, the 4 weeks of gut cleanse at rupees just 2,999. My team has dropped the payment link in the chat box. You can click on the payment link, make the payment, put your email ID, phone number, and you can click on pay now. There are various options that are available to make the payment. Let me just quickly show you how you can make the payment and what are the steps here. So you can directly go on payment details, click on the payment link which my team has shared in the chat box. You can enter your email ID, your phone number, click on pay to 999. Then you'll be receiving a screen something like this. You can scan the QR code being given to you, or you can enter your UPI ID, you can verify and pay. It's that simple to experience the relief for IBS management. So make sure you click on the link being shared by my team on the chat box and be a part of this gut cleanse journey being offered in this special festive season. So you have next 10 minutes because we have launched this special value offer only and only for the attendees who have joined us today. So make sure you click on the link, make the payment and be a part of 4 weeks of gut cleanse journey. So there are only 30 seats available for the session. I know more than hundreds of you have joined the session, but right now we have only 30 seats available given the bandwidth and everything. But need not worry. Make sure you you click on the link and make use of this festive season offer. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a few questions from the chat box. So make sure you put your questions in the chat box and we'll be taking it up one by one. Okay, Akansha has raised her hand. Akansha, can you please drop your answer in the chat box, or if my team can unmute and can we can help you, what are your exact doubts are? Okay, all right. Akansha, are you asking something? Can you please drop your question in the chat box? I can see you have raised your hand. All right. So meanwhile, what we are going to do is you can drop your questions in the chat box, and our IPS expert, Ms. Dhruvi Shah, will be taking it up one by one. So make sure you drop your questions in the chat box, and we can take it up then. Okay, all right. Malti says, hi, I am really keen on doing, but I'm traveling from 21st October to 6th of November. All right, no worries, Malti. Probably we can make an exception here. You can make the payment now, but we'll direct our team to activate your care plan after 6th of November. No need to worry, we'll make sure we start your care plan whenever you're ready. But this launch offer is only and only available for the attendees who are present in the session, and you won't be receiving this later on. So please make sure you click on the payment link, pay it now and probably we can activate it later on. All right, and if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box. Our nutritionist, Miss Dhruvi Shah, will be taking it up.
So, Simran, I'd just like to mention one of the interesting case that I came across. So, there was this patient who was who was somebody who owned a gym and somebody who loved to gym. But because of IBS, what happened that he had to rush to the washroom most of the times, and he couldn't. He was a personal trainer and a weightlifter, so he wasn't able to do any of those, considering that if you're lifting so much heavy weight, it causes pressure on your stomach, right?
Absolutely.
So he couldn't do all of that. He had to tone it down, and he sort of was so stressed and worried about it. And being a gym trainer, you understand how important it is for him to be present all the time, right? And he was also training for an upcoming match, but he wasn't able to do any of it. Post which he came in touch with me and through Daily Bloom, and we did the entire 14-week program. And his symptom reduction was to a great extent. But one thing I want to mention is uh, dedication and commitment is something which is very important, because the more
Absolutely.
you are dedicated and committed to following everything that we are giving to you is more important, because planning a diet is one thing, but then adhering to it and having the motivation for it is another. So obviously the team will be constantly motivating to follow the plan, keep on sending daily nudges, and curating a plan which is simpler for them to follow. So in not 14 weeks but almost in 10 weeks of time only, he was so relieved of the entire symptoms that he was facing, and he could do all of the lifting and everything again. Of course, it was a gradual journey when he had to start from, say, like from the beginning, but he could reach to a point where what he was doing before, lifting heavy weights and doing personal training again. So that's a very beautiful journey and the process that he's been through. So that's one of the interesting.
No, no, definitely, definitely, Dhruvi. I'm so glad we have IBS experts like you on our panel who have been helping our patients so diligently. And definitely, diet, stress management, wellness sessions, these are like one piece of the puzzle. There is a lot that goes from the patient end as well: adherence, discipline, dedication towards one health. But definitely, our coaches are motivating, and that is why it's actually a two-way commitment that comes from both the parties. If either of them goes down, we won't be able to see that kind of relief. But I'm
Correct.
glad you are there to motivate, you are there to dedicatedly work with our patients and take their gut health to another level. So thank you so much, Dhruvi. And all right, so Malti has said, okay, I can see in the chat box. Okay, so Maltiji, I hope your doubt is clear now, and if you have any more doubts, you can put it in the chat box. And yes, to all the attendees, this is a quick Q&A round that is being going on. If you have any doubts around food related to IBS or any triggers for IBS, feel free to put in the chat box and we can take it up. All right, so we have actually received our first payment for 4 weeks of gut cleanse. Welcome Anuj to the team, and I can see he has just now made the payment. Welcome Anuj for our 4 weeks of gut cleanse plan, and definitely you will be seeing relief in your symptoms in the coming 4 weeks. So welcome to the Dr. Reddy's Daily Bloom IBS family. So we are left with 29 seats as of now. So make sure you are part of it, and you take this launch offer at rupees just 2,999. My team has already shared the payment link in the chat box. You can click on the payment link and make the benefit of this gut cleanse program. Okay, Prab is saying I have made the payment. How do I start? Okay, so Prab, I hope you have made the payment using the Razor Pay link which my team has shared in the chat box. Shortly, my team will be coming in contact with you by today. They'll be giving you a welcome call. Once that is done, your convenience, your feasibility is asked for the nutritionist and wellness coaches session. Once you confirm your availability, you get going, your program kickstarts then. I hope I was able to answer your query, Prav. All right, so I have received one question from Maitri. Dhruvi Maitri is asking that how milk can cause me bloating. I have been drinking it ever since I was a child, but all of a sudden, for the last 2 years, she has been experiencing bloating related issues with milk. So, okay, can you please help us understand that a little better?
Sure, that's a really good question. Our parents, grandparents, everybody has been drinking milk and they don't see any problem with it. But what happens when it comes to IBS? It has lactose which is present. All right, milk has lactose in it, and to digest it, lactase is the enzyme that has to be present in the correct amount. Now, lactose it falls from the high FODMAP category and it could be difficult to digest, which could lead to bloating, gas, and sometimes even diarrhea is something which is observed by IBS patients when they consume milk. So that's the reason why milk is something it causes irritation and hence to be avoided.
All right, all right. So I think in that case, Dhruvi, probably curd, curd can be a safer choice because it has already been broken down by lactase enzyme.
Definitely, curd is a better choice, and a lot of people would tolerate curd better as compared to milk. But when it comes to gut cleanse, we will be avoiding milk as well, curd as well, and switch on to options which are lactose free. And later on, we will start to add them back in the plan once the gut is completely, with reduced symptoms or it is functioning correctly, and that's when we add milk and milk products back to the diet.
All right. Noted. I think that was a real eye opener here because usually as Indians we always have an habit of taking a glass of milk before going to bed. So, is there an alternative, Dhruvi, that we can look out when it comes to milk?
Definitely, there are lactose free milk present. There's oats milk, coconut milk, almond milk, a lot of other options that are there. Soy milk is something which is nearest and closest to the normal milk. The nutrients are closest to the normal milk, and it is very easily available throughout. So, that could be a better and safer option.
All right, noted. I think that was really interesting to note here. So we have received some 10 more payments from our attendees, and welcome to Daily Bloom IBS family. Welcome Karthik. Welcome Malti. Welcome Metri. Welcome Anuj to the family and other six attendees. Welcome to Daily Bloom IBS family, and I'm sure by the end of these 4 weeks you'll find a new you which is more healthier, happier, and cheerful. So, welcome to Daily Bloom IB's family. So, we have received few more questions, Dhruvi. So, I think there are another 10 minutes to go. So, we can take it forward then. All right. So, Karthik, who has just made the payment, is asking us that I love eating rajma rice, but I'm not able to enjoy it now. So, what should I do?
Right. So Rajma is something any and everybody faces a mild bloating when taken in larger quantities. Now, Rajma is something which has oligosaccharides, or to be specific, galacto-oligosaccharides. Okay, but these are a type of fermentable carbohydrates which are not easily digested by a human body. All right, and that leads to discomfort, mainly leading to fullness or bloating. They pass on to the large intestine because they're not completely broken down in the small intestine. So they pass on to the large intestine and where the fermentation takes place. Now, this fermentation is generally by bacteria, which produces more of hydrogen and methane, basically gas producing bacteria. So, one of the common symptoms faced after taking rajma is bloating. So, that's the reason why initially in the gut cleanse, like I've been mentioning, avoiding rajma is the best. But again, you need not worry. We will add all of these back in the meal plan so that you'll be able to enjoy it. But again, keeping in mind the portion size, if you are taking a low FODMAP food also in a higher proportion, that could lead to discomfort in the stomach. So that's the reason why managing or correct portion size is something that is important when it comes to high FODMAP food.
All right. Noted, Dhruvi. I think that was really helpful because a lot of time people have reported that how on eating chole, rajma, or certain dals, they observe certain kind of gas and bloating. So definitely oligosaccharides are the one to be blamed for.
So, a quick tip when it comes to rajma or any of the dals, because most of the dals do cause bloating, soaking it overnight and pressure cooking it would definitely work because it makes it easier to tolerate. So, these are the few tips that we do, simple cooking tips that could lead to better absorption and digestion of certain high FODMAP food.
All right. I think that was really helpful. I hope the attendees have taken a note of it. So I think one of our attendees is has written in the chat box that Kesarala Venu Gopal, that I missed the session. Any recordings or is IBS permanent cured or not? And they have also dropped his phone number. Okay, so Dhruvi. So about the recordings of the session, yes, Venuji, my team will be getting in touch with you. They'll be sharing the recording as well. And Dhruvi, would you like to answer for this? Is IBS a permanent cure or not?
So managing IBS is possible. Okay, so what happens is the inflammation of the gut linings that is there. We need to manage that. We need to reduce the inflammation. And like I mentioned about how a low FODMAP diet could help in reducing the inflammation. So definitely managing IBS is an option, but permanent cure is something when it comes to IBS that is not something which is possible by medication as well. So definitely being more aware about your gut or being more aware of how your gut is functioning and listening to the cues that your body is giving. So the gut brain axis is mainly that wherein we understand or listen to the cues that our gut is sending to the brain, or the brain is sending it back to the gut, wherein a feeling of fullness or if there's any discomfort. So that is something which can be managed with since it's a holistic approach. So along with food, there are multiple factors that we need to manage and look at. So yes, IBS is definitely manageable.
Okay. Thank you, Dhruvi. I think I would also like to add few points here. Is that a lot of time, a lot of people are not aware that IBS is actually a disorder. That's where our presentation actually started. I think Venuji missed out on that. So IBS is actually not a disease. It does not have any clear identifiable one single root cause. There are a lot of factors involved, and that is why an integrated approach is very crucial when it comes to IBS management and care. And usually what happens in IBS is there are two periods in which an IBS patient fluctuates in. One is the remission period and one is flare up period. So, what does a flare up period or remission periods actually means or imply for? A remission period is when you are not experiencing any of your IBS symptoms, when you are staying away from your food triggers and emotional triggers, as stated by Dhruvi. So at that point, you feel very happier, healthier, and full of energy, life. So you feel, hey, I can do anything and everything in life. So that is your remission period. Whereas a flare up period is the moment you take any of your food triggers or emotional trigger, knowingly unknowingly, your symptoms comes running back to you, and you again feel attacked and you again feel drowned by the symptoms. So at Daily Bloom IBS Dr. Reddy's, we ensure that we keep the patient as much as possible in the remission period, give them the kind of life they deserve, give them the kind of energy they deserve, give them the improvement in their overall quality of life as they deserve. And we have such wonderful IBS experts like Ms. Dhruvi Shah to help and assist patient in their journey. So yes, I hope Venuji we have answered your query. We have answered your question. So if any of you have any questions, please put up in the chat box. We are another 2 minutes and we are almost sold out by 25 seats. So welcome to the Daily Bloom IBS family. And yes, if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box and make sure you join the community link. We have another 2 minutes to go. Please put your questions in the chat box and we can take it up. All right. So, okay. Shrikant ji has asked, should I take any food tolerance test before this program to identify the food triggers? Dhruvi, would you like to answer this?
Right. So, food intolerances versus IBS are very different. When it comes to intolerances, certain times there are these enzymes which are not present to digest those food, and hence the food intolerances occur. But when it comes to triggers, we know for sure that these are certain triggers that has to be eliminated from the diet, and that is how it is differentiated. So there's no specific need to do the intolerance test, but if we know what are your intolerances, we can definitely manage it a little better, wherein we know that the trigger is because of the intolerance and not IBS. So
All right. Okay, noted. I think that was really helpful. I think a few of the patients who have come to us, they have already done a food intolerance or food tolerance test, and then they see, okay, these many foods were restricted. Now, what should we actually eat? We are left with nothing. So, I think in that case, doing an elimination and then giving you the right portion size can really be helpful. And Abhishek Bindal, I think this is the last question. We'll be taking it up. Meanwhile, you can put your questions in the chat. In the chat box. If not, my team will be dropping a Google form link. There you can drop your questions, and my team will be calling you after this webinar, and then they can take it up. One last question, Dhruvi, that Abhishek has asked: can IBS cause any lethal health issues?
definitely not. IBS is generally considered as chronic, but it does not have any life threatening or functional gastrointestinal disorder, because unlike in IBD, there are structural changes that are observed in the gut. But in IBS, it is just simple inflammation which causes the symptoms. So it is not lethal at all.
All right. Noted, Ravi. I think Shrikant has tried making payment, but it has been failed. Shrikant, can you please confirm, did you try making the payment and has it been failed for you? If yes, my team can help you now and then. Probably last question, we can take it up. I think we are receiving a lot of questions, Dhruvi. I think we can take this one last question. Is that possible?
Sure, sure, we can.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you have any more questions, please click on the Google form, drop your questions, and our team will address it for you. And you'll be also receiving a free nutritionist appointment. So make sure you click on the link and submit your form. And meanwhile, Veenu ji has asked, when I take breakfast with groundnut chutney, uh, with dosa, stomach is full, not hungry in the afternoon. Oh, okay, probably. Let me just interpret it. Okay, Venuji is saying, Dhruvi, that when I take breakfast with when I take breakfast, uh, probably dosa and groundnut chutney, I feel quite full and I don't feel hungry in the afternoon or lunch. Why so?
Okay. So now here I'm assuming bloating is one of the major concerns that you are facing, because whenever there's bloating, even after having simple water is something that could make you feel full, and that's the reason why you're not hungry for the next meal, right? So now this is like a cycle, because when you're bloated, you do not eat food, and when there's long gaps in between the meals, that could again lead to increased gas production and bloating. So it is important to break the cycle by correcting the lifestyle, keeping a 6 meal pattern. That is something which will help in reducing the bloating, and you will be able to feel hungry and lighter even after consuming 7 meals in the day.
Noted, noted. I think Venuji, one of the IBS relief stories which I have shared previously, there we had one homemaker from Hyderabad itself, and she was also experiencing loss of appetite problems, same as you, was feeling full after just one meal a day. So there we helped her to first cleanse her entire gut, remove all possible sort of toxins which has been there for years, and after that, slowly and steadily, when we gave her the right food, the right nutrition, her appetite gone up, and now today she's in such a state that she can enjoy her food favorites, non-vegetarian. She can eat outside because she knows what are the exact strategy, or her appetite has also gone down. So that has really, really helped her. So Venuji, probably the 4 weeks of gut cleanse program can really help you to work around with your appetite, or it can help you to understand the root cause of why are you not feeling hungry, or what is the problem, why just after one meal you feel satiated. So I think that's it. We are done for the day. We have already passed the scheduled time. It's already 12:04. Thank you so much for all the attendees for joining in today. And I hope this webinar was of use, and you have made the use of the special launch offer of 2,999. And if you have any doubts, any queries, my team has dropped a Google form link in the chat box. Make sure you click on the link, submit your name, answer, phone number, and your question, and our team will be shortly reaching out to you. And if you want to make use of this launch offer of 2,999, my team has dropped the payment link as well, saying your gut cleanse plan only at rupees 2,999. So make sure you click on the link and make the payment. So thank you so much for joining in today, and probably we'll be seeing you next week. In fact, this evening we have one more webinar on patient relief stories after doing daily Bloom IBS care plan. If you want the link for that, reach out to our team and they'll be sharing the link with you for their relief journey. So that's it. See you probably next Saturday with more such fun around IBS and how you can manage it better. All right. Take care and thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you, Dhruvi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.